Welcome back to Technological Frontiers, one breakthrough at a time.
Always exciting to see what we're diving into today.
You know it.
Yeah.
And today it's going to be straight out of Jules' article.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one.
Future-proofing your synthetic media with SynthID.
Catchy title.
It is.
Yeah?
So Immense, you know.
What is he, some kind of technologist? Or...
Yeah. He's one of those technologists who's always got his, finger on the pulse of what's happening in tech.
I feel like that's like a requirement for the job these days.
Totally. But he really does a good job of just making these complex topics accessible.
He does.
So big shout out to him for this article and for giving us so much to talk about today.
Absolutely. We're pulling all of today's info from his work, so definitely send some love his way.
We highly recommend checking out the full article, by the way, but we'll be covering the most important stuff right here.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff. Okay. So
all right, let's jump in.
Let's jump in. He starts off with a stat that really sets the stage.
Yeah.
Over 66% of the planet.
Wow.
Is online.
That's most of humanity.
It is. Think about that for a second. That's like most of humanity.
Crazy.
And a huge chunk of their time online.
Mm-hmm.
They're consuming media.
That tracks.
But here's the twist.
Okay.
Increasingly, that media isn't made by humans.
Here we go.
It's made by AI.
This is what we're here to talk about.
This is it.
AI generated everything.
It's wild to think about, isn't it?
It's wild.
Like, it really is.
Yeah.
Synthetic media is already woven into our digital lives.
Yeah.
Even if we don't always realize it.
Totally. And that's what makes this so important to talk about.
Absolutely.
Because it's already happening, whether we know it or not.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
As AI gets more and more sophisticated, it's getting harder.
Harder and harder.
To tell what's real and what's, well, fabricated.
Oh, yeah.
A photo of a politician shaking hands. Ooh. A catchy new song topping the charts.
Yeah.
How can we be sure?
These are the big questions.
Those are genuinely human creations.
Yeah.
And not AI generated.
It's tough to know. And this is where the need for something like SynthID becomes clear, right?
Okay, so SynthID. SynthID.
Yeah.
This is a tool.
It is a tool.
That was developed by Google DeepMind.
Google DeepMind, they're always up to something interesting.
I know, right?
Yeah.
To tackle this very problem of verifying content's origins in the age of synthetic media.
This is a problem for the times.
It is. Okay, so let's break down what SynthID actually does.
Yeah, let's get into the nuts and bolts.
Essentially, it works like an invisible watermark.
Invisible watermark, okay.
And it can be embedded into different types of media.
Different types, got it.
He focuses on three main categories.
Let's hear him.
He does. Text, images and videos, and audio.
So everyone.
SynthID has a solution for each one.
Pretty comprehensive.
Let's start with text.
Okay, text.
I'm genuinely curious about this one. How do you even watermark text in a way that's invisible to the reader?
Well, it's all about subtle manipulation, right? So during the process of generating text with AI, SynthID makes tiny tweaks to the probabilities of certain words being used.
Interesting.
To us, it reads perfectly normally, but to an algorithm that's designed to detect SynthID, it's like a flashing neon sign.
So it's like a
secret code.
It's a good code.
Woven into the language itself.
Mind-blowing.
It is. It is. It's pretty amazing. And it doesn't impact readability at all.
No.
Not in the slightest.
That's incredible.
That's the beauty of it. It's designed to be completely imperceptible to us humans, so the reading experience remains seamless.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, what about images and videos?
Okay, now we're talking, this is a big one.
This is a big one, right?
Fair.
We're all hearing about deepfakes.
Deepfakes, oh yeah.
And how easy it is to manipulate visuals these days.
It's getting scary good.
I know. How does SynthID handle that?
Well, with images and videos, SynthID goes straight to the source, the pixels themselves.
Okay.
It embeds the watermark directly into the pixel data.
So even if someone edits the image, like cropping it or messing with the colors, the watermark stays put.
That's exactly the point.
Wow.
SynthID is designed to be robust. It survives common image manipulations.
So it can't just be easily removed.
It's not foolproof, but it makes it much harder for someone to pass off AI-generated content as the real deal.
Okay, last but not least, let's talk about audio.
Audio, all right.
Can you actually watermark sound?
You bet.
Really?
This one uses a visual representation of sound frequencies. It's called a spectrogram.
A spectrogram.
Yeah, and SynthID embeds the watermark into that spectrogram.
Okay.
We just hear the music or the speech as usual,
Mm-hmm.
but AI can analyze the spectrogram and spot that watermark.
So even AI-generated music,
Mm-hmm.
like that super realistic fake Drake song that went viral last month.
Oh, you heard that one too?
Oh, yeah.
It was everywhere.
That could theoretically be tagged with SynthID.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
all about creating a system where we can better understand the origins of the content we're consuming, whether it's a news clip, a piece of art, or even,
Yeah.
a podcast like this one.
It makes you think differently about how you approach what you see and hear online.
For sure. It's a whole new world out there.
Yeah. I have to ask, though,
Yeah.
what's the point of all this?
What's the point?
Like, SynthID sounds cool from a technical perspective,
Yeah,
but what are the real-world implications?
right. So what?
Yeah, how does it actually affect people like, well, us?
That's the key question,
Right,
right?
right.
And that's what we'll dive into next.
Mhm.
It's fascinating to think about how SynthID could, shift the balance of power online.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, it just feels like anyone can create and share anything,
It really does.
and we're left trying to figure out what's real and what's not.
It's like the Wild West of information out there.
It really is.
But with SynthID, we're talking about the possibility of actually verifying content's origins.
That's right.
What kind of impact could that have on, say, the news?
Okay, so imagine a scenario
Okay.
where a major news event unfolds and images start flooding social media, right?
Happens all the time.
With SynthID,
Yeah.
news organizations could quickly verify
Yep.
which images are authentic and which ones are AI-generated or manipulated.
That's huge.
It could really help prevent the spread of misinformation.
Especially in a world where so much news is consumed through social media.
Exactly.
We're talking about potentially rebuilding trust in the news,
Yeah.
which feels like it's been eroding for years.
That's a big one.
It is.
And it goes beyond the news, too.
Oh.
Think about online marketplaces where
Yeah.
scams are rampant.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Imagine being able to verify the authenticity of product photos or seller reviews. That could make online shopping so much safer and more reliable.
So on the one hand, we have the potential to combat misinformation and increase transparency online.
For sure.
But on the other hand, I can't help but think about the potential for misuse.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, what's stopping someone from using SynthID to falsely label real content as AI generated?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
The technology itself is neutral. It's a tool.
Right.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
That's true.
I imagine a system of checks and balances will be crucial here.
Like, what do you mean by that?
Well, for starters, the process of embedding and detecting SynthID watermarks needs to be incredibly secure.
Okay.
We need to prevent malicious actors from tampering with the system.
So it's like a cybersecurity arms race, almost.
Yeah, kinda.
The technology needs to stay one step ahead of those who would try to exploit it.
Exactly. And beyond the technical safeguards,
Yeah.
I think transparency and education are key. People need to understand how SynthID works, what its limitations are,
Yeah.
and what the potential risks of misuse are.
So it's about empowering people to be more discerning consumers of information.
Yes.
Especially in a world where synthetic media is becoming increasingly prevalent.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Hemet makes a really interesting point about the impact of SynthID on content creators.
What's that?
It's like a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Oh, for sure.
On the one hand, SynthID can be a powerful tool for protecting artists' and creators' work from being copied, manipulated, or used without permission.
Use without permission, yeah.
Think of it like a digital signature
Okay.
for the AI age.
Digital signature, I like that.
So if someone tries to pass off an AI-generated artwork as an original piece by a human artist, SynthID could expose that deception.
Interesting.
It's a huge win for creators,
Yeah, it is.
especially in a world where digital art is so easily replicated.
Right.
But on the flip side, there's the concern about censorship.
I see where you're going with this.
What if someone uses SynthID to falsely label a legitimate piece of human-created art as AI-generated
Okay.
in an attempt to discredit the artist or suppress their work?
That's a chilling thought.
It is.
It highlights the need for clear guidelines
Yeah.
and ethical considerations
That's it.
around the use of this technology.
It does.
We need to ensure that SynthID is used to protect creativity, not stifle it.
Absolutely. He-Man also touches on this idea of SynthID as a catalyst
Okay.
for more responsible AI development overall.
Can you expand on that a bit?
Sure. One of the key things about SynthID
Yeah.
is that Google is making its text watermarking technology open source.
Oh, that's interesting.
This means developers can freely access and integrate it into their own AI applications.
So it's like Google is saying, hey, we've created this tool that can help make the AI landscape more transparent. Let's all work together to use it responsibly.
Exactly.
I like that approach.
And that's a huge step forward.
It is.
By making SynthID accessible to developers, Google is encouraging a culture of transparency and accountability within the AI community. It's about building trust in AI from the ground up.
That's a great way to put it.
This all feels incredibly complex.
It is.
It's like we're on the brink of this massive technological and societal shift.
We are.
Is SynthID the silver bullet that's going to solve all the problems of synthetic media?
I wouldn't say it's a silver bullet, no.
Right?
It's a powerful tool.
Yeah.
But it's just one piece of the puzzle. As synthetic media continues to evolve, we're going to need a multifaceted approach to navigate this new landscape.
What do you mean by multifaceted?
Well, for starters, we need continued technological innovation.
Okay.
SynthID is a great start. Yeah. But we're going to need even more sophisticated tools to keep pace with the advancements in AI.
So it's an ongoing arms race between those creating synthetic media and those trying to detect and verify it.
Exactly. But it's not just about technology. We also need robust legal frameworks that address the unique challenges posed by synthetic media.
What kind of legal frameworks are we talking about here?
Well, this could involve updating copyright laws to account for AI-generated content or establishing clear guidelines for labeling synthetic media to ensure transparency.
Transparency, yeah.
It might even involve creating new legal mechanisms for redress if someone's work is misused or misrepresented using AI.
So we need laws and regulations to keep up with the pace of technological change.
We do. And alongside those legal frameworks, we need to foster a broader societal awareness of synthetic media, its capabilities, and its implications.
It's about educating people, equipping them with the critical thinking skills to discern between real and synthetic content.
Exactly. And it's about encouraging a culture of responsible use of AI. We need to think about the ethical implications of the tools we're creating and the content we're producing.
That brings us to another point Hemant raises in his article. Why is synthetic media even becoming such a dominant force in the first place?
It's a good question.
What's driving this phenomenon?
Well, he points to two key factors.
Let's hear 'em.
First, he revisits that famous analogy, data is the new oil.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Coined back in 2006.
2006, wow.
While that was true then, he argues that data has evolved into something even more potent.
It's not just about the sheer volume of data anymore.
Right, it's about the transformative power of data, especially when combined with AI. Data isn't just a resource, it's the very foundation upon which AI systems are built and trained. It's the fuel that powers the synthetic media revolution.
That makes sense. We're generating and collecting data at an unprecedented rate.
We are.
And AI is becoming incredibly adept at extracting insights and patterns from that data.
Exactly, and those insights and patterns are what enable AI to create increasingly realistic and sophisticated synthetic media.
So whether it's text, images, videos, or audio, AI is learning to mimic human creativity in ways that were unimaginable just a few years ago.
It's mind-blowing.
So data is the foundation, the fuel for the synthetic media engine.
It is.
What's the second factor?
The second factor is the democratization of AI. AI is becoming a common tool, accessible to a wider range of people than ever before. This means that the ability to create synthetic media is no longer limited to large corporations or research institutions.
So we're seeing a shift from centralized creation to a more distributed model.
Exactly.
Where individuals and smaller organizations can also participate in the synthetic media landscape.
Precisely. And this has profound implications for the speed and scale at which synthetic media is being produced and disseminated. It's no longer a niche phenomenon. It's becoming increasingly mainstream.
Hemant even uses the phrase, "Our internet is now fake or dead."
Wow.
To highlight how pervasive synthetic media has become.
It's a bit provocative.
It is.
But it certainly underscores the point that we're already deeply immersed in this world.
It's a stark statement, but it reflects the reality that we're interacting with synthetic media on a daily basis, often without even realizing it.
Right. Think about social media posts, news articles, even product reviews.
Okay.
Many of these are already being generated.
Wow.
Or at least heavily influenced by AI.
It's almost like we're living in a blended reality.
It is.
Where the lines between human-created and AI-generated content are becoming increasingly blurred.
And that brings us back to the importance of tools like SynthID, right?
Totally.
Which can help us navigate this complex landscape.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about the why behind the rise of synthetic media, but what about the how much?
The how much, yeah.
He-Man dives into some pretty mind-boggling statistics about data creation and consumption, right?
He does. He cites some figures that are hard to even wrap your head around.
Oh, boy.
For instance, did you know that every minute we collectively generate over 500 hours of YouTube content?
What?
Send over 230 million emails.
It's hard to even imagine.
And post over 350,000 tweets.
That's an avalanche of data.
It is, and it's only growing exponentially.
No wonder the internet feels so overwhelming sometimes.
It's a fire hose of information, and a significant portion of that is visual and auditory content, which is precisely where synthetic media is making its biggest impact. He-Man cites a 2024 Global Overview report that reveals a fascinating insight into why we spend so much time online.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
According to the report, the top reason people aged 16 to 64 use the internet is to find information, news, and events.
Makes sense.
This is followed by watching TV shows and movies, listening to music, and engaging in education and study.
So it's about staying informed, entertained, and connected.
Exactly, and here's where it gets really interesting. Synthetic media is playing an increasingly prominent role in all of these activities.
Interesting.
AI-generated news summaries, personalized music recommendations, even virtual tutors.
Wow.
These are just a few examples of how synthetic media is shaping our online experiences.
It's almost like synthetic media is becoming the invisible hand.
It is.
That curates and tailors our online world.
That's a great way to put it. It's working behind the scenes, shaping the information we consume, the entertainment we enjoy, and even the way we learn and connect with others.
This brings us back to the central question we've been exploring.
Yeah.
How do we navigate this new landscape responsibly?
That's the big one.
How do we ensure that synthetic media serves humanity rather than manipulating or misleading us?
It's a complex challenge.
It is.
But I think He-Man offers some valuable insights and a call to action.
Okay.
He emphasizes the need for awareness, critical thinking, and active participation in shaping the future of this technology.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Let's do a quick recap of this section before we move on.
All right, that's good.
We started by exploring the two key factors driving the rise of synthetic media: the transformative power of data and the democratization of AI.
Right.
And we then delved into some mind-boggling statistics about data creation and consumption, highlighting how pervasive synthetic media has become in our online lives.
Yes, it's everywhere.
We also discussed the primary reasons people use the internet, staying informed, entertained, and connected, and how synthetic media is increasingly interwoven with all of these activities.
It really is changing everything.
And finally, we underscore the importance of responsible development and use of synthetic media, emphasizing the need for awareness, critical thinking, and active participation in shaping its future.
It's on all of us to shape this technology responsibly.
Okay, now for the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, what's next?
We're going to shift gears and explore some of the ways in which synthetic media is being used in specific industries and the potential it holds for the future.
Let's do it.
So we've talked about the why and the how much of synthetic media.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
But let's get into the where.
Okay.
Like, where are we seeing this tech being applied in the real world?
Real world applications, yeah.
Now, He-Man doesn't go into specific industry examples in this particular article.
Right.
But we can definitely brainstorm.
Yeah.
Based on what we know about synthetic media's capabilities.
Totally, let's do that.
What are some of the fields where synthetic media is already making waves or where it has the potential to completely change things up?
Okay, well, the entertainment industry immediately springs to mind.
Entertainment.
I mean, just imagine the possibilities in film, TV, gaming.
Yeah, it's already being used for some pretty mind-blowing special effects.
Right.
Even creating entire virtual worlds.
Exactly. And think about this. Synthetic media could let us digitally de-age actors.
Oh, wow.
Or even bring back iconic figures for new roles.
Like what you're saying.
Yeah. Imagine classic films being reimagined with brand new storylines all powered by AI.
That's both exciting and a little bit unsettling.
Yeah, isn't it?
It really makes you wonder what this means for human actors and the future of the film industry as a whole.
It definitely raises some big questions about creativity, authenticity, and the role of human performers.
Right.
But it also opens up incredible new possibilities for storytelling and visual artistry.
So entertainment is one big area. What else?
Education is another field where synthetic media could be a complete game changer.
Oh, education. How so?
Think about personalized learning experiences tailored to each student's individual needs.
Okay.
And learning style.
Wow, so no more one-size-fits-all lectures.
Exactly. We could have AI-powered tutors providing real-time feedback, answering questions, and even adjusting the difficulty of the material as you go.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think about language learning.
Oh, yeah, language learning.
AI could create personalized conversations with native speakers.
That would be amazing.
Tailored to your specific level and interests.
Right. It would make learning a new language so much more accessible and engaging.
Okay, so we've got entertainment and education.
Right.
Any other industries that could be completely transformed by synthetic media?
Absolutely. Healthcare is another prime example.
Healthcare, okay.
We're already seeing AI being used for diagnostics and treatment planning.
And with synthetic media, we could have even more advanced applications.
Totally.
Think about virtual simulations for surgical training.
Okay.
Or AI-generated patient avatars that can help doctors personalize treatment plans.
Yeah. It's all about improving patient outcomes, making healthcare more efficient, and giving more people access to quality care.
And it's not just about doctors and patients.
Right.
Synthetic media could create incredibly realistic training simulations for nurses, paramedics, and other healthcare professionals.
Absolutely. Those benefits could extend to other fields too.
Yeah.
Think about architecture, engineering, and design.
Okay.
I mean, AI could help architects visualize and design buildings in 3D. And engineers could use synthetic media to simulate how different materials perform under stress.
It seems like the possibilities are practically endless.
They really are. Synthetic media has the potential to transform how we design, build, and interact with the world around us.
It really is mind-blowing.
It is.
But, as we embrace this technology, we need to be aware of the responsibility that comes with it.
Absolutely. We need to be mindful of its ethical implications.
What does that look like?
Well, it means being transparent about its use,
Okay.
addressing potential biases, and safeguarding against misuse.
We can't just blindly adopt this technology without thinking about the broader societal impact.
It's all about striking a balance, pushing the boundaries of what's possible, while making sure that technology serves humanity, not the other way around.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of SynthID and synthetic media,
SynthID,
what are the key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
Okay, so key takeaways, first and foremost. Remember that synthetic media isn't some distant future scenario.
Right.
It's already here, and it's changing the way we create, consume, and interact with information.
It's not a question of if, but how.
Exactly, and that brings us to the second key takeaway. Awareness is crucial.
Awareness, okay.
We need to educate ourselves and others about the potential benefits and risks of synthetic media, and we need to have open and honest conversations about its impact on our lives.
We also need to hold the companies developing these technologies accountable.
Oh, absolutely.
Demanding transparency in how they're used.
Transparency is key.
And finally, remember that we all have a role to play in shaping the future of synthetic media.
We do.
It's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about the choices we make, the values we prioritize, and the kind of world we want to create.
This has been a really thought-provoking conversation.
It really has. Big thanks to Hemant Joyal for his insightful article, Future-Proofing Your Synthetic Media with SynthID, which was the inspiration for our conversation today.
Yes. Great article.
Highly encourage our listeners to check out the full article. You can find it on Medium.
Go check it out.
And as we sign off, we'll leave you with this thought. As synthetic media becomes even more integrated into our lives, what role do you want to play in shaping its future?
It's a big question.
How will you use your voice and your choices to ensure that this powerful technology is used responsibly and ethically.
Something to think about.
It is. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep questioning.
Always question.
We'll see you on our next deep dive into technological frontiers, one breakthrough at a time.
All right, see you then.